Hey, what's going on? So let's talk about calorie cycling ruining your physique. And you're probably like, what? That's what we do at Macro Mission. We love calorie cycling. As a matter of fact, we make a real cool weekly tracker that allows you to take some carbohydrates and fat, extra calories, put it on your weekend, enjoy the foods you love. Is that not what we've been preaching the last 10 years? Yes, but there comes to a point, just like anything in life, too much of a good thing can lead to some not so good things. So let's talk about my personal experience with calorie cycling. We'll call it Shark's personal experience with calorie cycling gone bad. You know, it's like a big shark. All right, so here's what was going on. Is we were running with a couple fasting protocols. My wife and I, last 6 weeks, working really well, did a lot of research on it. Things were rocking and rolling. And what we found is, and this is what we were hoping to find, is that on the weekends we had mass amounts of calories that were built up. You know, we were doing a full fast on Monday and Wednesday and Friday at one point. So we had mass amounts of calories built up. So we're like high-fiving it. We're looking good on Saturday morning. We're waking up like, oh man, looking great. You know, body fat's down, feeling energized, feeling great. And also feeling pretty good about the fact that I would have like 7,500 calories for Saturday and then another 7,500 for Sunday. And I was like, high five. I have gone to... I've died and gone to like calorie heaven because I'm not going to put on any fat because these were all banked from earlier in the week. That's the beauty of calorie cycling. Okay, so this is what happened. So we would go and, you know, we're busy on Saturdays. Okay, so we're kind of doing some unintentional intermittent fasting, and we would get out and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I have so many calories. I'll order the wings and I'll order this and I'll order that. And I'm like, yeah, this is great. Take a picture. I'm not going to gain any fat. And what I didn't calculate in, and I'm okay with rapid rise and falls in body weight, I'm okay with that. But what I didn't factor in is mistake one. Those mass amounts of calories is a lot of metabolic stress. Now, most people's physiology can handle it. It's not the end of the world. But just that mass amount of calories period is going to bring on a lot of inflammation. Lot of inflammation. Well, you say, you know, inflammation's just water retention, temporary. Okay, well, let's go to inflammation part 2. You're not eating that many calories in anti-inflammatory foods. Okay, so just the calories themselves are going to cause a lot of inflammation at that level. That's like 3 times what my body needed for that particular day. But you're going to eat a lot of highly processed foods that have very inflammatory properties. Okay, so now we're seeing like a compound effect. High calories, high inflammatory carbohydrates and fats, and high saturated fat. You know, I'm eating pizza, I'm eating wings, you know, ribeye, whatever I can fit in. So now we got 3 things going on, 3 pretty big inflammatory markers going on. And on top of that, this was going on the weekends when I didn't work out. Okay, so typically I don't work out on the weekends. So that's another bad thing. So now my recovery or ability to recover, it would get into like Monday and Tuesday, and my joints are still inflamed. You know, because again, we had 3 things working out against us here. So the joints are still inflamed. They're just not feeling good. You're kind of like, you got low energy because you just put your body through so much metabolic stress and so much inflammation. And it's just like, dude, I need a couple of days. And I was okay with that. You know, take normally till Wednesday for my water balance to kind of even out. But it's like, wait a minute. You know, I'm doing these protocols, massively banking these calories, and we're really not getting the physique benefits of looking at this, and I'm not recovering now. My joints are achy. Something's got to give. Another thing that I noticed was when you're banking that many calories, okay? Yes, you may not have over a week's period of time, you're not going to have fat gain, but it's also going to be very tough to track because if you're eating 7,000 calories in a day, your food variance is going to be very high. So what I mean by food variance is you're probably not going to be eating 7,000 calories worth of fruits, vegetables, and tilapia that has extremely low food variance. You're going to be eating, you know, like Papa John's or whatever it is that you want that typically has a very high food variance. You know, you get one person that makes a pizza pie, they throw the butter on there and throw the cheese on there. You get the next person that makes it, they hardly put any on. So that's a lot of food variance. Just typically, even if your food variance was fixed at say 7%, 7% of such a large number at once is going to be more food variance. So that was another thing, because, you know, we'd go out to these restaurants and be, ooh, I think those ribs were fairly lean, because I'm trying to fool myself so I can eat more ribs. So the food variance was a big thing. Another thing, and this was a big one, so this might be something that you may not have thought of as well. The leaner you get, and the more rapidly, this is probably a reason why crash dieting is not a great idea. So the leaner you get, the more rapidly that you lose body fat, your leptin levels tend to go down, and that can spur some massive continued eating when you start to pick up normal eating. So now you're putting your blood sugar through the roof, all these carbohydrates, all these simple sugars with low leptin, and there's no off switch. So your leptin is your hormone that kind of tells you, okay, you're full, we're good. Well, if you just gave it a beat down because you lost maybe a couple pounds or a pound of fat in the last couple of days from a very low calorie protocol, your leptin's gonna be like, dude, we need to replenish these fat stores like now, where it tends to not have that big a response if we lose fat a little bit slower over time. So just something to be aware of as well. So not saying don't calorie cycle, absolutely, but you wanna make sure that you balance out those inflammatory foods with non-inflammatory foods, and you don't want to bank so many calories that it's just a metabolic meltdown on your body. I would say don't bank more than 200% of your caloric allotment. So my caloric allotment, say, is 2,800. I'm not going to want to go much more than like 5,300 calories in a day. I would also suggest, if you're going to bank calories, nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. Just be aware of these things. Again, keep your inflammatory foods on the same ratio of your non-inflammatory foods. Okay, so yeah, eat the needs before the wants. Have the broccoli, the cruciferous vegetables, the high micronutrient dense foods first. Okay, so your body isn't just overrun with processed carbohydrates, processed saturated fat, and a bunch of salt. Okay, so make sure that that's evened out. A really good thing is, even if it's an off day, if you know you have a large calorie meal coming, just listen to a good podcast on this. Get a quick little workout in, okay? Deplete some of your glycogen stores. Maybe it's, 100 air squats in the bathroom, maybe some push-ups, whatever. But get your body kind of primed to store some of those extra processed sugars, or extra sugars, period, is glycogen, as opposed to just circulating it through your entire body and then potentially being stored as fat. So that's a pretty decent idea. I actually started moving my workouts during the week to the weekends, because I'm still going to calorie cycle. That's our time to have date night, but we're just not going to do it to this extreme. So another thing you might want to consider is just keep track of those calories throughout the week, so that you realize, like, whoa, I am really, really banking a lot of calories for the weekend, maybe too many calories, because you don't want to, appear to be a big inflamed seal up until Wednesday, when the inflammation finally works its way out. And we typically have, Mondays typically leg days, so we want to be recovered for that. We don't want to still be inflamed for our muscle groups that we're doing Monday and Tuesday. We don't want our body working out inflammation. We want our bodies refreshed, so that when we're smashing it in the gym, that energy is used to help us recover, not to continue to work inflammation out from the weekend's festivities. So hey, rock and roll. Hopefully this all makes sense, and you guys have an amazing week.